Greetings and welcome to the Alkaline Water Company webinar. It is now my pleasure to introduce your host, Ricky Wright, President and Chief Executive Officer. Thank you, sir. You may begin.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I appreciate your time. I hope everybody can see the slides. I'll be taking you through the deck. There's an opportunity to write in Q&A, so we will take time to do that at the end here. I'm planning about 30 minutes, so I hope that's a time frame that everybody can work within. First of all, I want to give you a brief background on me. I started with Arthur Andersen clear back in 1978, so I'm actually beginning my 43rd year in business. I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to enter into a bunch of different business experiences over my lifetime, so I'm a very diversified executive. I've worked in manufacturing. I've worked in virtually every area except for .com, so I feel very good about the ability to lead this company. This company was built to be sold. This company was never built to try to become a monster. We've always known that we need to meet certain objectives so that other people find us attractive and can give us the enterprise value we think we deserve. And right now, I don't think the market's reflecting that, but I see a bright future still for this company. The very first slide is really based on a lot of input we've had from big global and other consultants that we've talked to, and we're blessed to have Brian Sedano as a board member. Brian is the managing director of Beverage Marketing Corp. And with Brian's guidance, he's really helped us discern what we need to be in order to make ourselves very attractive. And at the end of the day, we need to be a brand. And even more importantly, we need to be a lifestyle brand. We know that there have been some big companies in the beverage space for sale recently that have limited themselves substantially for being attractive because they're a one-trick pony. And so about 2 years ago, we looked at the areas where we saw the greatest acceleration, both in and out of the beverage space. Really, we started the CBD in the beverage space exclusively and have expanded off of that based on some regulatory hurdles that we hit for our main buying group. But candidly, everything we do is really related to where we think there's going to be the greatest growth. And I have a very simple business model: low people, low capital, annuity, cash flow margins. Nothing happens without a sale. And I also look at ABCD, the access, the benefit, the capability, and demand that the company currently possesses. And that most important one that ties back into the sales, there needs to be demand. And everything we do is based on what we think is built-in demand, a fragmented market, not very good product, et cetera. So when we launched into the flavors, that was based on the fact that hemp continues to lead the category in the enhanced beverage space in terms of growth. Well, candidly, we're number 2 right now. We'd like to surpass them as soon as we can. They have a great product. I think there's a big open space for other great products because I think most of them leave terrible back taste in your mouth. The aluminum on that screen was set up basically because we got a call from some of our banners that said, hey, look, we have a sustainability and eco-friendly packaging as part of that sustainability request from corporate. And will you guys be willing to put together a sustainability package? And so that really drove 2 things. One, it drove us into the business model where we continued to pursue the banners. But number 2, it drove us and allowed us to go into the hospitality industry. We started that last November. We got pushed back a little bit because of COVID, but we're hot and heavy in that industry again, and we see nothing but good things. A lot of universities, a lot of other institutions, park systems, hospitals, et cetera, don't want plastic on their grounds anymore. So we see the opportunity big time for our aluminum. And we've had tremendous success already at the retail level. So we feel very good about that. And then obviously CBD, my chairman and I both have probably 20 years combined in the cannabis arena based on other business interests we've had over the years. And we actually developed our cannabis hemp-based product formulation even before the Farm Bill. So we'd worked with a group out of France, and we were able to get our formulations down. So we feel very good. That's on steroids. That's scheduled to be a $24 billion. I read some really good stats yesterday that those also we're probably going to do $1.6 billion to $2.8 billion this year. So I feel very good about that particular industry. We're a small player in it right now, but I see in third and fourth quarter this year that particular group will do very well. We have 18 people in the Alkaline Water group, and we have 7 basically new employees in the CBD group. The Alkaline Water group, we do about $2 million revenue per employee, which is about 10 times the industry average. So I've got very experienced team. That's the low people team. We budget for CapEx every year. I'm a big believer in balance sheets and turn. So that's kind of my background. That's kind of where this company is, and that's why you see this new lifestyle brand emerging. Where in the morning I hope people drink the water, regular water to hydrate. In the afternoon I hope they're drinking my flavored, and then I hope in the evening they're impressing the kids either with the drinking the aluminum or they break out our CBD water and drink that instead of wine. And during the day they're putting their lip balm on and they're hydrating with our creams. And at night to sleep they're going to take our tinctures and finish up their day with another Alkaline 88 A88 product. The disclaimer's coming up. You guys speed read that. If there's nothing else you remember about this presentation, this is really what makes our company different than most, and that is that we have been able to grow into all these banners over the years, and we now are in over 70,000 storefronts nationwide. Each one of these banners candidly love us. COVID was a great moment in this company's history. We were able, and you'll see in a slide ahead, I've come out of the manufacturing background, and so I've always wanted to have way more capacity if I didn't have to pay for it. So that's one of the reasons we have so many co-packers. It wasn't a function that there were 2 functions. One, I wanted to be close to my deliveries and all my my DCs. But the other thing was that if I could get capacity without having to spend a ton of money and a big CapEx budget, that's why we did it. And it paid off in spades when we ended up at COVID, because what I had done also was I had brought, once the president had announced the tariffs, I've done business in and out of China for 20 plus years. I got a little nervous because we get a lot of stuff from China and Europe. And I said, you know what? We're going to do all domestic production. So we were able during COVID to be able to produce when most of the other guys could not, because our supply chains were literally down the road or a couple, no more than 1,000 miles away, and all by road or rail. So really good performance by the company in that period. It endeared the buyers to us. We've now been told by 2 of the major companies that are on that sheet that we were one of their top suppliers during COVID. We've actually already been awarded by one of them by giving us additional shelf space and planogrammed in way before their natural reset. So we feel very good about it. Those same buyers are the ones that are buying my CBD water. When their legal department gives them the clearance, they're the same ones that are buying the flavored water, and the same ones that are buying the aluminum. And they walk down the hall. COVID also was great to us because we were able to do sampling, the greatest sampling program ever in this company's history. I know for a fact that we had almost 40% more people try our water family-wise during COVID than any other time in our history. And the funny part is I was upset because they were only offering 1 per family. And I thought it was a bad thing. It ended up being one of the best things in the company's history. So there goes to tell you how much I really know. That being said, the other thing that happened is a lot of, I just read something a couple of days ago that half of the CBD companies have gone out of business. We've been talking to the major buyers and a lot of these banners over the last year because their water buyer went down and said, hey, you got to talk to these guys in A88 because they've delivered $100 million worth of products to the marketplace successfully over the last 6 years. They're one of our best guys. And so we have those relationships. Because of all this mom and pops getting pushed to the wayside, we still believe that we'll be the number 1 or 2 brick and mortar CBD company in the country by this time next year. We've also launched, and some of this came from Brian Sedano at Beverage Marketing, we've also launched our e-commerce strategies, which continue to grow off the charts. By the way, this this presentation is also available on our website. So I don't know how all this works, but we're going to continue. I'll move through the next slides pretty rapidly. This just shows you that you buy management, you don't buy the business underlying products. I mean, I have a great management team, not good, great. We have successfully 2 times now in the history of this company doubled our sales in a matter of 30 days. I'm one of these CEOs that actually gets on a plane, goes and shakes the hands of all my providers. Sometimes it'll take me 24 hours there and back just for a 2-hour handshake and meal. And I was able to call each one of these co-packers and every one of my suppliers on the raw material side and just say, okay, now's the time to perform, put on that extra shift, let's get this done. I'm one of your key vendors. I'll be here in August to pay your bills. I don't know if these other guys that are pounding on your door are going to be. And to their credit, and maybe mine as well, none of them turned me down. Every one of them moved in a fashion that allowed us to perform. And we doubled business overnight. And we did that one other time when we got Walmart and Kroger in the same month. So very, very proud of my team. This slide just kind of gives you highlights of the company. I know all of you can read. I mean, I guess the one I would take out of this, besides all the great things that we've accomplished in terms of growth and in terms of being the #1 bulk water and the unique business model of going direct to warehouse and strategically located and variable cost and all those things you see here, is that we're the #1 bulk water. We're the number 10th in the space. But more interesting is that now all of a sudden, if you were just to single out and take out our single serves, you would see that we're now the 15th largest bottled water company in the enhanced space, just in the singles. So if we were measured only in our singles, we still had a tremendous growth. On the multiple growths for Catalyst this year, there's a couple I want to point out. Obviously, I think e-commerce by the 3rd and 4th quarter, we're continuing to get on front pages with all kinds of products that we didn't dream of we would be, all kinds of word searches that we're now #1. I think that's going to continue to grow both on the CBD as well as the water side. We're growing at a pretty exponential rate there. I see that as big 3rd and 4th quarter. We're fiscal March 31st year end, so it's not calendar quarter. And then the other two is, we still got a big convenience store push. We will use some direct store distribution model this year just to try to prove that out. We had plans that have already been launched in the Northeast, but the Northeast is pretty much still on lockdown. So that's going to have to be a 3rd or 4th quarter as well. But we've done a little bit of pivoting here, and hopefully we'll have some exciting announcements in the next couple of weeks on that in terms of other territories. And then the other one is the hospitality arena. Do expect some big announcements on that. I actually said that on my most recent call. At the year-end call, we see that as a real growth area for us. It's bigger than the area we're currently in, and there's a bunch of places that we can actually get to, I think, in the next 6 to 12 months and be a real player. These next couple of slides we're going to go through pretty quickly. This just shows that we're real. I mean, we're averaging 62% compounded annual growth rate. I know that we're doing very, very well on that, and we will continue to grow. And I think this year, towards the end of the year, we'll have some exponential growth again. We're in the right place at the right time. Just the water space continues to expand. We happen to be the #2 in terms of growth in the space. I think now we're the #1 alkaline water in terms of our growth. And, it's one thing to be 1,000% or whatever when you only have $100 in denominator, but now our denominator is over 40 million. So, it's a real accomplishment to be growing at the rate we're still continuing to grow. And that, by the way, we just got the data from July 11th on the Nielsen data, and in the last 6 4-week periods that they measure, starting in February, there's only 2 companies in the enhanced water space with any kind of denominator that continue to grow double-digit. And I'm very proud that Alkaline 88 is one of those 2. And I was a little worried because there was a lot of pantry stocking. I wasn't sure what was going on the shelves. And so after post-COVID lockdown, and it was very very encouraging for me and everybody on this team that we continue to pull off as well or better than 99% of the companies out there. So very pleased in that. My undergrad degree, I also did some econ work. I'm a big consumer marketing guy. We do a lot of elasticity demand studies here and gap pricing. I lead those charges. But the other thing that we have here is that only 39% of the people out there, or 38, know that alkaline exists. Only 19%, half of them even tried it. If you look at the next slide, you'll see why it's only in almost every major league locker room. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, football, basketball, soccer. Alkaline water does have a unique taste and unique hydration, especially when it's ionized like ours. And, you just become an adherent to it. One of the interesting things that Brian Sedano shared with me a couple of years ago, he said, Ricky, you don't realize what you have. And what you really have is a company that is growing word of mouth. So person's drinking your water, turning in their friends and saying, hey, you got to try this. That, the next slide really shows, and that is that we have the most loyalty, and I can make the argument of any brand in the entire universe of water. Once you drink Alkaline 88, we only have 2 ingredients. We're a clean beverage brand, and we actually own that trademark. And candidly, we outperform our competitors by 6 to 1, 8 to 1, 5 to 1. And so it's really a truism that until we ran the study last year, I wasn't quite sure what Brian was talking about. I'm going to try to finish these slides in about the next 7 or 8 minutes, so we leave 5 minutes for question and answer period. So if it seems like I'm going fast, it's because I am. This just shows you that we're, here's where we are. We got a lot of room to grow. I got a lot of green space if somebody wants to come in and take a run at us. I haven't locked down the convenience stores. I haven't locked down a lot of places. There's 1 million places literally that we could be over 1 million. We're in about 70,000 of them. So we're becoming a very attractive lifestyle brand. And, we know that there's a sweet spot, between 40 and 100 million where you get a good hard look by somebody. And we're really striving towards that kind of goal. We're still a growth company, big time in terms of both organic as well as other things that are on the horizon. And we feel very good about it. We've talked about becoming cash flow positive by the fourth quarter of this year. We could come cash flow positive virtually on any moment we want, but right now it's super important for us to continue to be a major growth story. And I think by next year, the major catalyst on that will continue to be the organic growth we have in the brands, the banners we're in. But I also see big growth in the other sectors. We talked about them both, the CBD as well as the hospitality sector. This just shows that, by being a national brand and lifestyle brand, it gives us other opportunities for expansion. We're already into Family Dollar. We're already into, Vitamin Plus. And so, and we would have been in a park system by now if it hadn't been for COVID. So there's other opportunities and other ways we can expand in terms of major market channels. This just tells you who we are. You can see that we've got brand expansion, lifestyle expansion, e-commerce expansion. So all this is, it really is still roses here at Alkaline 88. I hate to go back to COVID, but it really was a good event for this company. I know the rest of the country has suffered. I've had loved ones as well suffer. So, I get it. But for this particular company, this was a COVID blessing for us. And so we've really been able to move forward as a company in each one of these areas as a result of that event in this country's history. This is kind of a graphic illustration of what we've been able to accomplish by strategically locating ourselves around the country. I pride ourselves in our flavor profiles. Pride, fall comes before the pride, or pride comes before the fall. But, I was in a restaurant business for a number of years. There's still a restaurant that I founded here in Arizona, 28 years in running. I can give you a big plate. I can give you great service. I can charge you nothing, but the food's lousy, you're never coming back. And I do believe we have the best tasting products, not only in our core water, but in our flavored water, in our CBD products, in our ingestibles, et cetera, in the entire world. We've had some people that have done independent reviews that pretty much came up with the same conclusion. So I don't understand my competitors when they make stuff that like you can't drink but an ounce or two, or it's an acquired taste. I want people to do and taste our product and say, wow, that's really good. And I want them coming back for more, just like I have in my restaurateur days. Again, we make great product. I always like to say, you drink this cold, you'll never have a beer again. It really is that good. The only reason I really put this slide in, it wasn't to show you the product diversity. It was really to show you what I believe. I mean, there's been some huge write-offs in the CBD arena. And candidly, everything, because we're analytically driven, everything on here is really driven based on the analyticals and what we believe and what we know to be selling through the marketplace. I mean, if you look at that deep relief cream that we'll hopefully run this week or next week at our plants, or not our plants, but our co-packers, you'll see that that was the #1 selling topical last year in the entire country. We know that for a fact, and that company happened to go out of business, so we picked up the line. So, we're very cognizant of what's going on, and you won't see us build out 80 SKUs because I don't want to be sitting on a $36 million write-off that happened to one of the majors this year in the space. Finally, CBD water is coming out. We launched this originally with some sugar in it. We reformulated. Unfortunately, COVID's kept us from getting back on the shelves, but we'll have a run of it this month. Sorry. E-commerce, I talked about that. It's really moving favorably in our direction. We continue to get tons of traction. We are going to have to do some traditional marketing this year, maybe get some influencers, et cetera. The reason for that is we can no longer sample, and we're just going to take some dollars from our sampling program, which is about $180 a store per day, 200, so 1,000 stores, a couple $100,000 a day to sample. You usually sample 2 days at a time. So, we're moving some of that budget over to traditional marketing. You'll hear more about that as we build this out. And then finally, we are looking to get a buyout. I mean, I started this business. I own 50%. If you flip to the next slide, I've always believed that we can get a 4 to a 6, somewhere in that range, just on the water alone in terms of gross revenue buyout. I think we can get much higher with the addition of our CBD if we get a little lucky here and we become a market leader, which I think we will be. We've done some unique things. We haven't white labeled ours. We've created our own products. We use the best CBD in the country. We've got some efficacy and absorption studies coming your way, probably in the next month as well, that we've paid so we will be able to actually make claims and statements with respect to our underlying products. And, I've said this earlier, you only buy management. Everybody has a great idea, but very few people can perform. I have a great group and a great team that helps me perform every day. This isn't on my back. This is on my team's back. And this is just, kind of what I believe in terms of, I guess my sayings didn't come up, but you can find that on the website. But this is really what we've done. And I think we're undervalued substantially in the marketplace. I know there's a guy out there with an 11. I know Essentia wanted an 11 through the grapevine. And I think that, we're a really good play over the next 12 to 18 months. And now we'll go to Q&A. The question is the company still on target to become profitable this year? The real answer to that is we've made a commitment to become cash flow positive, GAAP profits with, a bunch of warrants or not warrants, but a bunch of options, which everybody in my company is underpaid, but compensated with shares and warrants, and options. So really everybody's tied to the stock performance, but yes, we are on schedule to become cash flow positive by the fourth quarter this year. What are the main inflection points for the company that investors should look for? think there's a couple of things. One is if we get the traction third and fourth quarter this year with CBD, I still think we'll be the number 1 or 2 brick and mortar. Our e-commerce grows in an exponential rate right now every month. I think when the gummies become available, we'll even see greater growth. And then I think the announcements with respect to hospitality and what we're doing there and convenience, I think those are both going to be substantial announcements. And you're going to see a lot of a continued growth in the categories we broke into the last 2 years. I think we'll see some additional in specialty retailers. I think we'll see some additional in drug, and we may even pick up an additional big box. What is the exercise price of the warrants? The price of the warrants vary. A lot of them have already been chasing in. It's between 50 and 65 cents, and we have some at $2.16, I believe. Any other questions? I'll give you my final speech. I wake up next to the lovely Mrs. Wright every morning, and I own 50% of this company when I came in. And you'll see that fully diluted, we've got about 85 million shares out there. I tell her, honey, we're only going to have so many shares. I still believe we're going to get a 4 to 6 times our revenue just on the water side alone. When you look at that 85 million of shares outstanding, fully diluted, that's always kind of my target for the next 12 to 18 months in terms of sales. So when we go out and we do a raise, it's always about increased incremental value. What funds do we need? I know a lot of people get anxious because when we do raise our funds, we put them towards specific purposes that we believe as management and as a board will accelerate our growth. There's a question asked on what's the holdup on the gummies. There's really no holdup. It's a formulation. COVID obviously had some impact on the East Coast where we get our flavors from. So that's really been it. We do our own formulations. So, you have to have the manufacturer run various samples. So we'll be in the market with that by the end of this month, beginning of September. Thank you very much for your time. I am right on the number, and I appreciate it, and I'll be happy to follow up with anybody that needs some follow-up. I'm assuming there's a process within this organization to get it done. So thanks again. Blessings. Everybody stay safe.
This concludes today's webcast. You may disconnect at this time. Thank you for your participation.